What's up, Rockstars? Today I am especially pleased to tell you all about Primal: The Awakening by Reggie Games. In this details video, I'll be going from the high-level overview to even some nitty-gritty game mechanics explanations, including some information about the Kickstarter campaign itself. Without further ado, let's get to it. As always, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. Without their support, I would not be able to provide this level of independent and completely honest videos. Additionally, thanks to all of you that like, subscribe, pause an ad blocker, buy some merch, or do whatever you do to help out in making this channel the best darn place on the internet. You guys are all rock stars. Okay, so what is Primal: The Awakening in a nutshell? It's a fully co-op fantasy game for 1 to 4 players where you follow a story in a campaign, go on hunts against boss monsters, and use them to craft better gear to hunt even tougher monsters. Let's dive into the game in 3 main categories, starting with the world and campaign system, then moving on to crafting, and then finally discussing the combat afterward. After that, we will end on the Kickstarter details. While the main focus of Primal is the combat and crafting, the story and world are no slouches either. The game takes place in the fantasy world of Theria. While none of the hunters you control are magic users, magic is very real in this world, especially at the, pun slightly intended, primal level within the wilderness itself. No one knows why the wild creatures are so bent on attacking human civilization or where they came from to begin with, and the mystery around that is something the storyline will focus on. While you can one-shot specific hunts, the game is designed to be played as a campaign, where how well you do and what you choose to hunt will branch the story, so one playthrough will not have you fight all of the monsters. Thankfully, much like Oathsworn, monsters are rarely fought more than once, and when they are, they change in some fashion, so you'll experience a myriad of the wildlife over the estimated 30 hours of the campaign. Putting you on these hunts are important story characters such as the commander of the Special Militia of Alboria, which you are members of. The campaign you'll be playing through is non-destructive legacy light. The story will branch, and what you fight and what you can craft will change depending on your choices. Should you lose a hunt, your characters must escape and will receive wound cards in their deck and can also receive other consequences, including permanent ones, depending on the hunt that was lost. You have a maximum number of these failures, so if you lose too much, the story will end prematurely and you'll need to restart with fresh characters. And if you don't want any of that, you can always do one of those hunts as a one-shot with different difficulty options. Now, I've mentioned crafting a few times, so let's discuss that more. You'll be doing your crafting in the garrison phase of the game between hunts. You'll use forge sheets that you've unlocked and your gathered resources from previous hunts to craft new weapons and armor. Each forge sheet expands the garrison and increases your crafting options. There are distinct categories of monster, and each one relates to a certain type of forge sheet. Defeating monsters nets you their applicable forge sheet that thematically ties with them. And there's lots of them, over 150 unique equipment cards in the core game alone. Additionally, during the garrison phase, you'll be leveling up, adding and customizing the cards to your deck. Of course, as you get stronger, so too do the monsters, and they will scale up based on your equipment level, with both their stats and deck of cards increasing in difficulty. Now, onto the combat, because that's why we're all here anyway. Right off the bat, know that there are no dice. The combat is completely card-based. You'll have a deck of cards and a hand of cards with an interesting cost system. Each card of your hand acts as a stamina, and playing cards cost stamina, so you'll have to sacrifice some cards in your hand to play others, providing a constant trade-off. You'll still want to try and play multiple cards to build powerful combos, however, but with a hand size of 5 to 7 cards, you'll need to look not only to your own moves, but that of your party as well. Each hunter is unique thanks to their own unique deck based on its weapon class, and each has access to a unique weapon list that can be crafted. Both the deck and the equipment you wear define how you will play, so even within the same class, wearing different equipment sets will result in a variation. On the battlefield, strategic positioning matters, as well as the gear you take with you. Each monster has specific weaknesses and resistances to different types of damage. Speaking of enemies, their AI uses a unique deck of behavior cards, as well as objective and peril cards. Peril cards give the monster powerful abilities and upgrades, and over time these will receive struggle tokens that the monster uses as a resource pool for its actions. Therefore, when fighting them, you'll need to, of course, deal damage, but also try and control the monster by completing the objective cards and also attempting to remove struggle tokens from the peril cards in play, thus limiting what they can do. Between the behavior cards, objective cards, and peril cards, each monster is highly unique and dealing with each one will be different. You'll be using this deck fighting a dozen distinct monsters in the core box alone, along with some alternate versions. Oh, and the game is in fact soloable. You'll just be controlling 2 characters at once. Now, let's discuss the Kickstarter campaign itself and what you can expect. Reggie Games already has a manufacturer lined up, and they are in the final stages of defining the relative costs for everything for final pricing, so I can't give that to you yet. What I can say is that you should expect a few expansions to be available that will add monsters, which of course also adds forge sheets and therefore more gear and crafting options as well. Additionally, I am happy to report that they want to keep the campaign simple and will be providing a gameplay all-in pledge that will include all expansions at a discounted price. In more good news, there will be a $1 pledge tier that will have access to the pledge manager, so that's a great opportunity to still track updates and have comment access for any questions you might have. The game comes with some big minis to boot. The heroes are coming in at 35mm, and the monsters start at 60mm and go up to 140mm in size. Rest assured that all miniatures will come pre-assembled. Lastly, Reggie Games does have plans for retail distribution, so the game itself will not be Kickstarter exclusive. There might be some expansions or other stretch goals that end up being exclusive, however. So, that's Primal the Awakening by Reggie Games. If you appreciated the video, be sure to leave a like, as that really helps the video, and let me know if you have any questions or suggestions and I might be able to oblige. Additionally, note that Reggie Games is quite active on Board Game Geek, and I imagine will be on this video as well, so if you have any questions for them, just leave a comment here or on BGG and I can point them to it. Also, do please let me know if you want to see more from this game. Perhaps an unboxing would be nice in the future. With that, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being so awesome. You have a freaking great rest of your day.